Next topic we want to discuss is going to be the undercard to that fight, which is going to be Sean Monaghan versus Marcus Browne. Fight is being contested at I believe light heavyweight, and then Marcus's Browne record stands at 19-0, no draws, and then obviously Sean Monaghan stands at 28-0, no losses, both undefeated fighters. The interesting part about this whole fight is that they're actually very good friends. They've sparred a lot. From what I've read, they've sparred over 100 rounds together. So obviously the whole thing about friends and boxers fighting, I think it makes a good fight because they know each other so well. They probably know things about their styles that would make for an interesting fight. But how do you see this fight playing out, and who do you got?
Well, it's an interesting fight. You got Marcus Browne, who have the length advantage, who's the bigger guy, the longer guy, the reach advantage, and Marcus tends to have is known for having like that 1 point power kind of feel to it. But Shani is a guy who's a brawler. He's gonna come in and make it dirty.
Tough, man.
Yeah, he's gonna bring it. For some reason, Shani and Joe Smith, who also is fighting on
the same day,
same night, different,
just different coasts.
Yeah.
One is in Englewood, California, at the Forum. That's Smith, and then Shani's in Long Island in Nassau Coliseum. So
all right, between them two, their hometown been asking for the fight for the longest. Why? Because they got a rivalry on the amateurs. They have sparred a lot as well. But Joe Smith have never wanted a fight for a reason. I believe that Joe beat him, if I'm not mistaken, twice in the amateurs, and Shani beat him once, something like that. It's something around there. I mean, it might be close, but it's something around there. And Shani always wanted the fight. If I'm not mistaken, Shani was with HBO but they never were able to like put him out there. This is a guy who's hungry, who's looking for the opportunity, and I think this is it. So going back to the topic, I think that Joe never fought him for a reason, and we know Joe. Joe got a lot of power. The thing about Shani that he's gonna put in the pressure, and if you can't deal with the pressure, you're gonna buckle. And for me in this fight, I think that they both from New York, one from Staten Island, one from Long Island.
Wu-Tang.
Yeah. we're gonna have the fight in Long Island, which I think Shani's gonna get the advantage of the hometown, which makes sense. And honestly, I think I'm gonna pick Shani. Why? Is because Browne haven't been looking good in his past. He fought Hot Rod, and I believe Hot Rod won that fight. He just got the decision because it's the hometown advantage. On the top dog fight, he started really sloppy. You know, he got the KO, but you know, it was kind of weird the way everything happened. And I feel he's not going to be able to deal with the pressure unless he's able to hurt Shani, which I really doubt. Because if a guy like Joe Smith can't hurt him, or you know, I don't think Browne is going to be able to. And I think basically, for me, in my opinion, he's going to go to decision, and I think Shani's going to get the decision as well. But it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a really interesting fight. And for me, this card is going to be really good. I mean, right now I'm still on debate if I'm going to debut on the HBO or watch this one live. Both cards are going to be action-packed, in my opinion. But yeah, for this one, I'm going with Shani by decision.
I'm going to have to agree with you there, or I'm willing to even step out and say by stoppage. If I look at Sean Monaghan, the one wrinkle he has is the fact of his age. He's an older fighter. I think he's mid-30s by now.
Yeah, I think he's 35.
35? Okay. So pretty much the age has a factor. The best thing about him is that he's a tough fighter. Like, you can see this guy bruised, and I'm not going to go out there and call him like a Mickey Ward or anything like that, but I think that's one of the reasons people want this fight. A lot of people have mentioned that Joe Smith Jr., Sean Monaghan is not going to be that. You know, I don't ever want to say that, but they're saying, oh, we could produce something like a Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward type thing, which, you know, who knows? You never know until they get him in there. But the thing with Sean Monaghan is that he's tough. He's a tough fighter. If you look at him fight, you're like, oh, there's no special effects. But the thing with him is he wears you down. Like, he's the type of fighter that he's always in front of you. He's not gonna get out of the. Yeah, he's some shots in the beginning. He'll take a couple lumps, get bruised up, but that doesn't discourage him. Like if you're fighting a guy in front of you that you're hurting him, and the fact that he has power, he's not just like, he's not like one of these Russian fighters that you fight him and they're like, they just one punch and then you keep hitting them and they don't fall and you win the fight 12 rounds. This guy can put up combinations together. It's very hard to like hurt this guy. I think it's a matter, in this fight, it's going to be if Marcus Browne can withstand the pressure. And I feel Marcus Browne is going to win the first 4 rounds. He'll probably, Monaghan probably wins a couple rounds, but I see Marcus Browne winning probably the first 4 rounds. After that, we'll see probably like a change in pace as far as Monaghan, being able to land the shots, wear him down. Marcus Browne maybe not being able to do that. But the reason I feel that it could go to a stoppage was with Marcus Browne when he fought Hot Rod. And God forgive me, I'm butchering his real name, Radajivo Kalazdik, Hot Rod, excuse me, no homo, pause. But that fight, I agree with you. I felt that it was a robbery. I saw that Browne dropped Hot Rod in I think the first or second round, and then Radovich dropped him in the 6th. And I felt that the drop in the first, second round was a slip. They counted as a knockdown, but it was like a slip. Mm-hmm. But the time that the Hot Rod dropped him in the 6th, it was legit. And he had him hurt, I think, in the 5th round. So it's like, he knew he could get to him. The thing, Marcus Browne, he looks good. He looks sensational. I don't know if it's an issue of stamina, of the weight, or just mentally not being focused enough to, sometimes you just have a bad moment. You get lulled to sleep, and then, you get caught with a shot, and that's it. A la Amir Mom type thing. But I feel that with Monaghan, I feel he'll wear him down. I feel that he has the potential to stop him. So I agree with you. At the very least, unanimous decision for Sean Monaghan. At the very best, which I feel could happen, I feel that there's a good 60% chance he could take him by TKO or KO. He'll stop him probably after the 6th round. That's how I have that fight. And as far as the Joe Smith Jr., it makes sense. Nassau Coliseum, I mean, is gonna have their first fight, their first boxing event since like the 80s or something, from what I've read. It's in Long Island. Sean Monaghan's from Long Island. Joe Smith Jr. from Long Island. 2 local guys. Already have a fan base. They've proved it with the numbers they bring. They have a stadium. Doesn't have to be Brooklyn. They could just bring people don't have to hop on the Long Island Railroad, is all we're saying. There's no reason not to make it happen. I see him winning that. So hopefully if Joe Smith Jr. wins his fight against Sullivan Barrera and Monaghan wins his fight, they can build it up and produce it. So I agree with you as far as that. Unanimous decision or at least stoppage.